We talk about building muscle on our horses, especially if you do dressage. We want to build muscle on their top line. So that means like here in the top part of their neck, and then in their back underneath the saddle, and then all the way through the loin and the hind end area. So that's really where we want to build muscle on our horses. Hello, today's video is all about how to build muscle on your horse. So whether you're just looking at your horse's top line and you're like, hey, you know, I feel like they don't have enough muscle in their neck or their back, or if your horse has been off, if you haven't been able to ride your horse because of an injury or maybe because of the winter time, then this video is for you. I'm going to give you some really great tips to help you build muscle on your horse. Thank you so much to Purina for sponsoring this video and making it possible today. So first of all, when we talk about building muscle on our horse, this is Harvey here, and Harvey has been off for about 3 months. If you follow me on social media, I've shared a little bit about my story, but Harvey's my Grand Prix horse, and unfortunately earlier this year he had to have surgery. He had like a big Newcomb ligament bursitis. It was a big thing, so he spent a month in the hospital. He had 2 surgeries. He lost all of the muscle in his top line. It's starting to come back, but it's still not there yet. And I'll put in some old footage of him before the surgery, but like if you look back here, he does not have nearly the muscle that he used to have. So when we talk about building muscle on our horses, especially if you do dressage, we want to build muscle on their top line. So that means like here in the top part of their neck, and then in their back underneath the saddle, and then all the way through the loin and the hind end area. So that's really where we want to build muscle on our horses. So how am I building muscle back on Harvey? Today, I'm going to give you a bunch of tips to help you build muscle, to help you rehab your horse. And the first thing is it starts before you even get on your horse. So I'm going to get off and we're going to take you into the barn where I'm going to show you what I'm feeding Harvey, because nutrition is a really important part of building muscle and building top line back on your horse. It really starts with what I feed him before I get on him. And just like us, if we want to go to the gym and build muscle, it's that combination of eating really high quality foods, getting enough protein in your diet, and exercise. So I've been feeding Purina products for a long time, and I really like Purina products because number one, they're scientifically studied. So they do a lot of studies and a lot of testing on all the products, which is super, super important. And number two, I'm super busy and I don't have a lot of time to be like measuring out a bunch of different supplements. So Harvey's feeding routine is pretty simple. He gets the Ultium Gastric Care. And for the gastric care, he gets a big scoop like this in the morning and the evening. And then he also gets the Purina Super Sport. So the Super Sport is a amino acid supplement. So that's gonna really help to make sure that he gets the protein that he needs to be building the muscle on his top line. And I've had a lot of horses, especially some of my older horses, that when I started them on this combination of feed, it made a huge difference in the way their top line was looking. Of course, you have to ride them and train them correctly and all of that, but they need the nutrition. Now, one thing that I'm super excited about adding into Harvey's nutrition plan is the Purina's new systemic. This probiotic comes from 10 years of research. And what's really cool, if you read the back of it, is it's patented probiotic technology shown in research to support optimal digestive and immune function for horses. It remains live and active after pelleting. So that's really cool because it's an easy pellet to feed and it's live and active, and it's research proven to support for normal hind gut health. So I'm really excited to start feeding Harvey this, especially since he was on antibiotics for so long and I know that his tummy can't feel good. So this is just simply what I feed Harvey. It's really easy, 3 scoops, that's it. But it is definitely important, if you want to build muscle on your horse, that you are feeding them the correct nutrients that they need in order to put that muscle on.
Oh, Harvey.
Okay, so now that we have talked about Harvey's feeding regimen, we're going to talk about the training, right? Because it's both things. You have to be feeding them the nutrition they need to build muscle and top line, but you also have to do the training. You're a good boy. The most important things when you're trying to get your horse fit again is lots and lots and lots of walking. And so when I get on Harvey, I always spend at least 15 minutes just walking him before I go up to the trot. And this is super important because he's lost all of his muscle with being off and being in the hospital and being on antibiotics. Like, he lost all of his muscle. So when your horse doesn't have muscle, they're more likely to have injury if you overwork them or if you ask them to do complicated movements. So if I just got on Harvey and I started asking for like the Piaf Passage, which I was doing before his surgery, I'll put a little clip in here of him dancing before his surgeries. If I asked for that now, he would have injury. And that is why it is so important that we build muscle on our horses, just like us, right? It's really, really important that you are building muscle, that you're doing some form of weightlifting. It helps with your immune system. It helps you to avoid injury. Studies have even shown that it helps your brain function better. So while you're walking, really make sure that your horse is walking out. So I want to feel that my horse is walking like a runway model, that they're really swinging, and you should feel that swing in your back. So the way that you know that your horse is walking out is if your hips and your back are moving. So he needs to walk out a little bigger. And I'm on the buckle. So safety first. If you're rehabbing, I don't want you to get hurt. But if you're safe and you can just walk your horse on the buckle, that's the best. And really, like I said, they need to be marching with a purpose. So if your horse is just walking like this, like if they're just like barely creeping along, just barely moving, that's not going to help you. Your horse really needs to march, and they need to swing, and they need to walk through their whole body. So you can see how his top line, his back, his neck, everything is moving. And that's really the first step to building muscle, right? Is you have to stretch and you have to get everything warmed up and moving. So once I've done my nice loose rein walking, the next thing that I start doing is walking some serpentines. And serpentines are really important because serpentines work on suppleness. So what I'm looking for as I'm walking my serpentines here is getting him to bend in his body. When we talk about bend in our horse's body, we really want our horse bending from their poll to their tail. And we want to be able to bend them equally left and right, which is tricky because every horse has a hollow side and a stiff side. And again, having this suppleness in your horse is really, really important because just like us, part of building muscle is that we need to be able to maintain our flexibility. So as I'm going around here, my bending aids are inside leg at the girth, outside leg behind the girth. So here, if I want him to bend left, I'm using my left leg. I'm pushing him over into my right rein. And then my right leg and my right rein catch the outside of his body. So it's outside leg behind the girth. Outside rein is here by the withers. And I have another great video that helps you really understand how to get your horse bending in the body. But I definitely recommend doing some serpentines at the walk and just really work on getting your horse bending around your inside leg in both directions. And like I said, especially when you're rehabbing your horse, or if you have a horse that's a little bit older, doing a lot of stuff at the walk is really, really good, not only for your horse, but also for you. At the walk, you can practice refining your aids, you can focus on your position. There's just a lot that you can accomplish at the walk. So then once I've done my 15-20 minutes of walking, you really can't do too much walking. I've been starting out Harvey in a little bit of a longer, more stretching frame. And it's always important that you're not always riding your horse in a show frame. He's a little fresh now. But you definitely want to stretch your horse and be able to change and adjust the frame. And especially since he's lost a lot of muscle on his top line, working on getting this longitudinal suppleness is super important. And just words of caution, if your horse has been laid up on stall rest, you maybe don't want to start with this. I was lucky with Harvey in the sense that he was able to get turned out. So safety first. I've definitely gotten hurt rehabbing horses because a lot of times, good boy, the vets are like, oh, just, you know, get on and start tack walking. And that's really difficult to do when your horse has been pent up for a while. Okay, so we've done a lot of walking, we've done a little bit of stretching. Then the next thing that I like to do to build muscle in my horse is transitions. So transitions are really, really good exercise to build that hind end muscle up, and also to develop your horse's top line. So I'm going to just start out by doing some transitions, trot, walk, trot, and let me talk you through the aids. So you're walking. The transition to the trot is you're just going to close your legs. Harvey's a little fresh, so good boy. So you're just going to close your legs to get your horse to trot forward. And then the aid for the trot to walk transition is pull your tummy in until your horse comes to the walk. And again, with these transitions, you want to do as little as possible to get the results. So I'm closing my aids to get the trot to happen. Hey, focus, good boy, good boy. It's also normal that your horse may be a little bit like hotter or less focused when they've been off work for a while. That's totally normal, and it just takes them a while to get back in the routine of working again. So trot, walk, trot transitions I've been doing a lot of with Harvey, and also trot, canter, trot. I'm going to go to the left and do a few to the left. When you're bringing your horse back from an injury, the last thing you want to do is lateral work in tight circles. That's like kind of what's the hardest on your horse. So with Harvey, I'm going to do just a lot of transitions, a lot of big circles and serpentines, but I'm not going to do any steep half passes or any really tight circles or pirouettes until he's really strong again. Because even though I could, like if I asked him to do a pirouette right now, he'd do it, but he doesn't have the muscle for it. I'm going to give him a short walk break because, again, since he's not very fit, he needs lots of walk breaks. But it is really important to understand that in order to do the upper level work, your horse has to have a certain amount of muscle and fitness. Even though Harvey, yes, he's a Grand Prix horse, he doesn't have the fitness or the muscle tone to do the Grand Prix work. So I can't ask him to do those things. And that's where a lot of times people have injuries, is because their horse isn't fit, they don't have the muscle, and then they start asking for harder work than their horse can do. And like I mentioned at the beginning, it's really important to think about what you're feeding your horse and to make sure that you're feeding your horse the right thing. If you've ever tried to build muscle for yourself, you know that what you eat is super important. So next transitions I'm going to do with Harvey are trot, canter, trot, and lots of walk breaks. So just like if you've ever gone to the gym and trained, you know that you need to do a set and then you need to rest, and then you need to do a set and then you need to rest. So transition to trot, rhythm. And it's always so discouraging when your horse is off for a while, right? Like it's super disappointing. And like with Harvey, there were a lot of emotions that went along with it of like, is he ever going to come back? But every time you start over again, you have a chance to build your horse up again and to reshape their body, to go back to the basics. So often your horse will come back better than they were before. And I'd love to know, let me know in the comments what you've overcome with your horse, like what injuries or what rehab you've had to overcome, because I think we've all had something as horse people. Good boy, good boy. Transition to trot, 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 trot. Boy, soft hands. Think about your position. Half halt. Good boy. But lots of straight lines, lots of big circles, lots of transitions. That's going to do the trick to building up your horse's fitness and building muscle with your horse. Boy. Good boy. And again, another walk break because he's not super fit. Good boy. Good boy. It is important to think about our horses like athletes. It's really about the workouts that you do and the nutrition that you feed your horse. And that really is what allows you to build the muscle and develop the top line on your horse. So I really hope that this video has given you a bunch of different ideas to help you develop your horse's top line, build muscle on your horse. Remember that it's a process. It takes time and consistent training and consistent riding. But with that, you do start to see the difference. And once again, big thank you to Purina for sponsoring this video. Check out the description. I'll link a bunch of information where you can try out some of their products. And like I said, I highly recommend their products. I've seen such a difference in my horse's muscle and my horse's top line when I'm feeding these products. Thanks for watching.